Michael, thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. So today is Ask Vicki, Ask a Serial Entrepreneur Anything. This is the show that I actually introduced myself in the beginning. So those of you that are new will know what my skills, my qualifications are, and you can ask me questions and let me know exactly how I can assist you. From the 10X. Oh, are you there, Michael? You should see. Hey, great. Welcome to the broadcast, Sandy. It's good to see you. Ken Walls, I was on his show the other day. He is there. Actually, a bunch of my friends are there. I think. Anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. But a lot of my friends are there at the 10X conference, so hopefully you can say hey to them. And Ken, is Ken where I met you? I think isn't Ken's show where I met you, or was that someone else's show? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so let's dive into the Ask Vicki, Ask a Serial Entrepreneur Anything. First of all, my name is Vicki Fitch. I am a direct sales expert. I have been in the industry for over 20 years. Top 10 sales and recruiting internationally for more than a decade. I've also built and sold 4 companies. I'm an author, speaker, international business consultant. My job is to help you get outside the 5,000 to turn your passion into your profits. So this is your chance to ask questions. Now, many of you, maybe, you did see, and that's awesome. Many of you might be on a tight budget, right? So this is your chance to get free advice from someone who has been in the industry for a long time, who understands sales to social media and everything in between. So building and selling 4 companies from scratch. Jennifer, welcome. Appreciate you being here. It gives me a unique perspective to be able to be very well-rounded and give you guys some input on your businesses. So I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the questions that were messaged into me this week. If you guys have them, you as the people that are here live, you get top priority. So if you guys have some questions, please pop them in the chat. And for now, I will ask you. Bible News Radio said, did you listen to my question? What question? Nope. No, I didn't, Stacy. I've been really busy. So you'll have to type it out if you have one. Hey, Michael, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I have to, I know, I have to move something in order to get that. So because I can't see questions on Periscope. You cannot see the questions, even though you're pushing live, you can't see them unless I actually have another device set up so I can actually monitor your questions. So even though the app is pushing out to the multiple platforms, I can't see the questions if they're not there. Hey, Snug, the cat in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. All right, so back to this. Let's see. Jennifer says, you're wondering if I can help. I just wrote a book and now looking for someone to publish it for you. Okay, on Periscope if it works. Hey, Michael, I see you. Thanks for being here. Welcome. Yeah, Jennifer, I certainly have some contacts in the publishing world, as you know. Candy Saka in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. So first of all, are you looking to actually find a publisher or are you publishing it yourself? Self-publishing, there's a lot of simple formats for you to go through. I do have some really good tips I got from somebody recently on how to go through that process. But Jennifer, did you already have it professionally edited? If not, you need to get that done first. That's your absolute first thing. I met some people the other day. And I want to tell you this, not because I judge content, because I'm not going to judge content. But, we talked about this after an event, not the author summit that I went to, but another event that I was invited to. There was a guy there. And when, he was talking to people he put his book on the table and he's talking to them. And then somebody asked him if he had a card. And he goes, I don't need a card. I have a book. And then, so she was asking him, so are you giving me are you giving me the book? And he's like, oh no, that's $20. So instead of Grant Cardone jumped out of a plane today from 8,000 feet. Well, Grant he's a gutsy one, that one. Grant's crazy. That's what I think. I don't know why it's not moving. Anyway, you guys will have to pop your comments in. But so recognizing that, and then when I looked at his book, when it's sitting on the table, you can definitely tell he did not have it professionally edited. There are, if the back cover has errors, professional editing is something that's important because it's going to separate you. Whether or not you self-publish, I think is less important than your content. I think certainly having a publisher gives you some validity in the marketplace, but your content is the king, right? That's the really important part, is that you have your content. Hey, Mel, welcome to the broadcast. And thank you guys, by the way, for sharing this out. We are on Instagram, Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and we are also in the Get Vocal platform, and we're pushing live to my website as well. Hey, Tad, welcome. And so recognizing that your content is more important, right? And Jennifer, thank you so much for the emojis. I'll work on that and then get back to you. Yes. So, and I do have an editor. If you're, if you're looking for somebody, I do have an editor on my staff that can do editing as well. So anyway, so I would get that done first, because that's the first, your content is important. And if you have spelling errors, or you have there's some simple things, right? In books, you would never separate a hashtag onto two different lines, right? You can't hyphenate a hashtag. You can't hyphenate, there's just certain things you just can't hyphenate. You can't, you have to have somebody look at it. Then you have to have somebody actually do the design and somebody lay that out if you're going to self-publish. If you're not, you can certainly submit those things to publishers and have them, give you their opinion if they're going to accept it or not. Hey, Tad, welcome to the broadcast. And of course, I don't know why. Here, I'm going to go out of this and come back in, because I don't know why, but it's keeping the comments there and it won't move them. So if you guys just put a comment, you're going to have to post it back up. Sorry about that, but it wouldn't move the comments. So I needed to go out and come back in. So recognizing that, like I said, that you want to have somebody professionally edit it, you want to have somebody that's looking at it and verifying that it looks like, it looks like a professional piece of work. Because even if your content's great, if you have a bunch of spelling errors or things like that, it's just not going to go over well. Okay, so what other questions do I have here? Like I said, I want to make sure. Okay, so Stacy says, how do you deal with people who owe you money despite them having problems that prevent them from paying you? So being caring, but also not being a doormat and letting people get away with not paying you. Hey, Patricia, welcome to the broadcast. Well, you're asking two different things, right? Because there's two different questions there. How do you deal with people who owe you money? And then you're saying, I'm looking for a logo designer. Yes, I have a logo designer too, Michael. Let's see, I'm reading that. So being caring, when people, there's two different things, right? Because we want to be kind to people. We've all probably experienced financial difficulties, and we feel maybe a very kind-hearted towards people who have given us grace and given us mercy, right? So there's a certain point of recognizing that people have hard times, and it happens. But you also may be having a hard time. So the first thing for me, Microsoft Word is wonderful software, but doesn't take the place of a professional editor. There you go. That's for sure, Snug. Hey, Bowler, welcome. Recognizing that some people know in advance that they're going to have trouble, right? Some people continue using your services when they know they're not going to be able to pay. Some people, so I don't know what your current situation is, but let's just say that I personally, I get paid in advance for my work. So when I'm doing coaching, I get paid in advance. So I don't put myself in that predicament of having people owe me money for something, because I always say, that expectation is the embryo of resentment. Payments don't always have to be cash. There are other forms of asset services like property, etc. I don't lend money out, plain and simple. Yeah, I don't think she's talking about lending. I think she's talking about doing services. Now, Stacy is with Bible News Radio, and so maybe she has a sponsor or something, and she's continuing to do the sponsor stuff, and they're not paying. I'm not sure. Patricia says, teach a person to fish, give a skill, opportunity to serve. No, don't use debt. But once we do extend something, like if somebody says, hey, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I can't pay you this month, in this case, I'm just going to take this for an example, because you want to really look at your situations. There have been times in my life when I have extended credit to a long-term client that all of a sudden was experiencing financial difficulties where I wasn't being paid in advance. Not a first-time client, somebody who'd been continuing to work with me that I trusted. It doesn't mean they aren't going to default, right? It doesn't mean that. What I always decide, I have a general rule, and this is it's a little bit more detailed conversation, so I want to kind of get that out there, because I think we need to recognize everything isn't black and white. Hey, Ed, welcome to the broadcast. I think it says Ed. Ed Salam. Everything isn't black and white. We would like it to be sometimes, but it just isn't. And we have to look at the information and then become a little bit wiser and more aware, so we can decide how we're going to handle it next time. Now, in a situation where you're already doing a radio show, for instance, like Stacy does, if you have a sponsor, luckily, it's not actually costing you money to do something. Cash talks, bull walks. I'm with Vicki. I get paid up front, then I produce the product for them. But you know what, Snug, we also know that there are people, I know Stacy, purchased services from someone and paid in advance and then they didn't even deliver. So I get where some people don't want to do that. I mean, it's a difficult situation. It's a tough world out there for trying to negotiate what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So I understand people on both sides. I just I have for me, that's the way I do it. Now, if I didn't have money or if I was, in a difficult situation, maybe I would have something different. It's okay to extend credit if there's a relationship and they can show it's cash flow. It's a cash flow issue, not a lack of cash. I love how you put that. It's a cash flow issue, not a lack of cash. I have a friend who's a therapist who's in this situation. It's not me. They have a long-term client who's fell on hard times. A promissory note will cover emergencies and no note with assets backing it up and no loan. Okay, so I'm going to finish what I was saying just to give an example because Stacy's saying it's not her, but let's just finish that example because maybe you have something similar where it's not really costing you anything to provide the service. So you're not literally out financially. You have a lot more flexibility. Okay, and by the way, if you haven't shared this out yet, please hit that share button and please put your name in the chat so I can give you a shout out. We are live on 6 different platforms, and so that's why my eyes dot around a little bit. So I'm checking all the comments there. Hey Mel, welcome. I'm checking the comments on each of the platforms to make sure that we're answering everybody adequately. So if you have something where it's a sponsorship and all you have to do is, say something and announce that person, you have a little bit more leeway because you're not physically putting yourself or legitimately putting yourself in a financial difficulty by continuing on with the service. But if you are doing something like that, you need to recognize without resentment, right? Expectation is the embryo of resentment. You need to recognize that they may never pay you and make a decision. If they're never going to pay you, would you still do this? Would you still extend that? Or do you think it's a good risk to try? Right. And so you need to think of it that way because there are people that fall on hard times and they're still a good client and they might be a good client for years and years to come. So it's certainly worth the risk because there's no financial outlay. Now, there's a difference if you are, you are you only have 4 slots available and all the slots are full and you got people waiting in line and these people aren't paying you. Again, you have to weigh it. You're not physically losing any outlay of cash, but you are losing, there's an opportunity cost there that you're losing because that customer, you could be filling the slot with a financial remuneration. So this is where we can't be robotic. We're people and we have to make decisions. But entrepreneurs make decisions based on, a base set of criteria and their instincts of people, right? Then when we go into situations, now I don't know so you're this therapist, let's see. The therapist, it's not me. They have a long-term client who's fell on hard times. Well, I mean, all I can say is that I would ask for, to find out if there's a way that we can, what arrangement can we make? Maybe they have a child that needs the services of the people that fell on the hard time. Sometimes you can take a pet as collateral. I'm not recommending we take people's pets as collateral. I think that's for some people that's like a child, like here, borrow my kid for a while. So recognizing that they might have something that they can offer in exchange. Maybe they are a printing company and they have, resources to do that. Maybe we were talking yesterday about how you can, we were talking about people donating towards my URNF campaign so we could get it sponsored where I can go to more schools. And somebody said, hey, well, we can donate. Hey, Drew, welcome to the broadcast. People can donate miles, their airline miles. So maybe those people have airline miles and you guys need to go somewhere. I think you can be creative when you're already in the situation. I don't recommend you go negotiating that situation to start a relationship. But if you're already there and the people already owe you money, be creative and try and figure out how you can keep the relationship intact. We never want to burn bridges with people for any reason, right? I mean, well, I guess some people we want to burn bridges. If somebody, punches you in the face, you may feel like burning that bridge. But hopefully you're getting the point. Is that if it's preemptive, then it's something that you're making a decision in advance. If people that you're already working with fall on hard times, I mean, like I said, I can only imagine if when I was married to my ex-husband and then he left me and drained my bank account and charged them all my credit cards. If I had been seeing a therapist and the time I really needed them, and now I literally have no money that she couldn't see me, I wouldn't be angry at her, but I can recognize how, she might want to make a bet on me. She might want to take a chance on me and see if she could support me. Maybe it would be, maybe it would be more limited, or maybe she would say, hey, this is what I would like. I had a bookkeeping and tax company at the time. I need someone to keep the books, or I need a part-time person that can do such and such. Can one of your staff members do it, or something? We can have those conversations. But again, if somebody's walking in off the street and saying, hey, look, I need your help. I ain't got no money, but I got some airline miles, I probably would have to decline that, right? Because that's not a good model. And I always believe, of running by the, hey, on Unso, welcome to the broadcast, running by the whole context of don't do for one what you can't do for all, right? Some bridges need to be lit on fire. Don't do for one what you can't do for all. And the reason is because you don't want to put yourself in that predicament where you're saying, okay, yes to them and no to them. It puts you in a difficult position of having to say yes or no. It puts you in a position of having to negotiate things differently. Like, well, you did it for Mary, and how come you won't do it for me? So you like her and you don't like me. And it's just not a good place to be in. Like I said, when you already have an existing relationship, that's a little bit different. So put a 1 in the chat box if that made sense. Hey, Ken. Hey, Lisa. Welcome to the broadcast. Put a 1 if that made sense to you guys. That we're trying to set precedent, right? We're trying to set guidelines for our business that will help us to stay consistent with it. But we're not trying to set, hey, Ken, welcome back. We're not trying to reinvent the world. Polly, it's good to see you. How do you deal with your emotions about it, though? Hey, JK, welcome. Drew puts a 1 in the chat box. Thanks, Drew. How do you deal with your emotions about it, though? Well, I don't know what you mean, Stacy. So if I go back to the situation, what I just said, let's see, well, debt and character ought to go hand in hand. You can watch how people live and how they spend money to help make the choice. Well, that's a good, it's a good suggestion. I guess I'm in a kind of a unique position of, thanks, Polly, thanks, Michael, of seeing people that look like they have a lot of money that ended up with some bad investments and stuff, and were completely broke, even though they were in a $3 million house. But it's not like you can just walk out of your house. It's not like you can just sell your house. When your money is all tied up in your home and you hit something really, a really rough patch, it's not like you can just go, all right, we'll sell the house. First of all, it's a huge decision to make. Second of all, you have to get a realtor involved. You got to find somebody that will actually sell the house. You have to find somebody to buy it. It's not this immediate, transition. So we shouldn't be judging people externally. But when you're looking at how do you deal with it emotionally? If someone did it on purpose, I mean, then, they knew they didn't have any money and they, started something with me, then I might not be very happy about it. But I try not to get emotionally charged about situations like that, especially, when a long-term client hit hard times. It's kind of like, well, the emotions, are we talking about the emotions about how sad I feel for them, how bad I feel for them? And so my heart goes out and I want to do more. And so, but I can't keep doing it. Are we talking about that kind of emotions, or what kind of emotions are we talking about? Hey, Serpico, welcome. The frustration, or like, so help me understand that. Patricia says face punching is a burnt bridge. So she's got her thing there. Now, Facebook, if you guys are there, I mean, I know you're there. I can see people are there, but I'm not seeing any new comments. So if you guys have a comment, if you guys could put something in there, I'm just going to put comment here, just so I can see that they're popping up. Because I don't know. Dave Gonzalez in the house, welcome. I appreciate you guys being here. So let me know if you guys have questions, and please share it out. If you haven't shared it out yet, hit the share button and make sure that we send this out. So Dave, it's so good to see you. Congratulations on seeing Lindsay again. I'm sorry about your car and the accident, but I'm super excited that you're doing okay. All right. So back to that. Let's see if Stacy says yes, and the guilt of wanting to be paid. Well, I don't think it's guilt of wanting to be paid. I mean, we shouldn't feel guilty. I mean, the only time I think we might feel guilty is if we cared more about our money than we did about the people. And I don't think that's usually the case. I think when we're experiencing financial difficulty ourselves, that it's natural reaction to to want to hold on to what we have. And then when we have the expectation that someone who owes us money and that money's coming in, I can totally understand that. Hard times are part of business. Rarely does everything go right all the time. Hard time galvanizes us. Well, it does, but in the interim, that humiliation and embarrassment that we feel is difficult to get through. So I don't think so. Stacy's saying, so caring more about being paid despite the pain of the other person. Well, okay, so yeah, I understand. I'm sorry about that, guys. He said Periscope's acting up. So let's break this down a little bit, okay? Because there's a difference between caring more about people, about, getting paid than the other people. Okay, so let's look at it this way. That was in 2017, Vicki. I've been doing a 10-day spree of Lindsay posts. Oh, I just thought you went and saw her again, Dave. I get it now. Okay. So so yes, I'm replying on something that happened to Dave 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. If you are, let's say you got $1 million in the bank. Okay, we're going to get extreme with it so you guys can kind of put this in perspective and then try and fill in your own circumstances. You have $1 million in the bank and you don't have any debt. Somebody owes you money and it's not financially going to hurt you. I mean, it's inconvenient and it's irritating because people owe you money and maybe maybe you feel like you tend to be a little bit selfish. You made a deal, do this, do that. Periscope went down. Did it? Is Periscope down? You guys are still here. Is Periscope down, you guys? I don't know. I think it was you, Michael, because they're still here, I think. So Dave and Mel, let me know if you guys are still there on Periscope, because it looks like it's still good. I can still see myself moving around, but who knows, right? Okay. So you have $1 million in the bank. You got no financial problems. You're providing, let's say you're a counselor, right? And you're providing these services, and this long-term client is now having trouble and they are sobbing and saying, oh my gosh, we really need you, especially right now because our life is kind of feeling like it's falling apart. And is there anything that you can do? Can you please help us? Can you work with us? Blah, blah, blah. In that particular regard, if you're feeling more concerned about getting paid than about those people, then I would say, yes, you have to look inside and find out why you feel that way. Why is your inclination to feel frustration for people? Okay, so you're here, Dave's here. Okay, Michael, you're back. Periscope is okay. Gotcha. Thanks. And Snug says it's okay. So, oh, thank you guys. Thanks, Ken. And again, thank you for sharing it out. If you haven't already, please do. So if you're in that predicament where you don't need the money, but they owe it to you and you feel justified in getting frustrated. Hey, Brandon, what's up, son? I'm praying for Daddy. Is Daddy okay? Is he all right, Brandon? I'm worried about you. I saw that message about your dad and I know he's breathing now. So if you guys say a prayer for Brandon's father, was it a heart attack, Brandon? Anyway, so Papa Love is doing better right now. Papa Crumble, sorry. Michael, thanks for inviting people. I appreciate it. He woke up and he's alert. Oh, praise God. Thank you so much. I'm glad you shared that, Brandon. It was a heart attack. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, 01, welcome to the broadcast. So, we're kind of in the middle of this conversation, right? We're talking about, and by the way, we are live on Instagram, Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, Get Vocal, and on my website. So we are multi-streaming on 6 platforms. So thanks for being here. And that's why my eyes are darting around to make sure that we get that information there. And everybody, all the information's coming through and you guys know what's happening. So if you're in that situation, lawns need mowed, walls need painted, services rendered can be as good. You know what, Snug? I agree. But again, I want to remember, I want you guys to remember that things aren't that cut and dry, right? I mean, if you work full time, but your investments just fell through the roof, you may not have that time. But yes, cleaning toilets, scrubbing toilets, cleaning houses, all those things are okay. The situation is actually the opposite because the business needs the money to pay the bills. Okay. Well, that's why I said we're going to go through both of them. So if you have all the money in the world and you're worried more about the money than you are about the people, then that's a problem, right? It doesn't mean you need to continue servicing them, but if your problem is in your heart that you're frustrated with them for not having money, and you have plenty of it, then again, it's not a decision of whether or not you should continue providing services. That has to be personal to you. But your question was about the feelings. How do you deal with the feelings? So now we flip this around, right? And say, okay, they have no money. I need the money. you can't, we can't be angry with someone who experiences financial difficulties. We can be frustrated with people that know what they're doing and choose to get into an arrangement with us that they cannot pay. But getting angry, of course, never solves anything. Being frustrated or irritated, it doesn't help, right? So if your business needs the money and you were counting on it, that's unfortunate. And I can understand you being discouraged. I can even understand you being upset. But unless they did it on purpose, you can't or you shouldn't be upset with the people, right? If they didn't do it on purpose, then it's circumstances, and circumstances suck sometimes. They just suck. So helping them to feel better and saying, I'm so sorry, I still can't service you right now. I really wish I could, but I can't. That's their choice. It's okay. And maybe the guilt comes because technically you can, right? If you're selling your time and no one else is taking it, technically you can. But that's not your responsibility, right? You have to decide what's best for you, and you cannot let your heart run your business. I mean, I have a huge heart, but I can't do free services for everybody who can't afford me. I just can't. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the capacity. So, if they can afford me, great. If they can't, then, I still can care about you. I still provide free value every night on, multiple platforms. So you can still get free stuff from me, even if, you're not working with me. So I don't feel bad. But I would counsel them to recognize why those feelings are there. Now, again, don't get angry with me. The feelings might be there because they were counting on something and they mismanaged their own funds. I'm not saying that did happen. Being angry will just distract you from finding a solution. Absolutely, Snug. That's the answer we were looking for. Okay, thanks. I have a few dollars and I'm more concerned about saving lives than money. There you go. And like I said, I think a lot of people are, but I think that we can't discount the anxiety that we feel when we're experiencing financial difficulty too. So, like I said, I'm not judging their frustration about the situation, but like I said, they don't have to feel guilt. Welcome, you guys. I am live. Hey, Instagram. I don't know who it is that's here, but welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you being here. Still got to have some money to help others. Yeah, you got to pay your own bills. It's really hard for you to deliver value to other people when you're trying to figure out where you're going to feed your family, right? And so it's not your responsibility to take care of other people. And again, for those of you who are just walking in, we're talking about a therapist that has patients that are experiencing hard times, and she's feeling guilty about something. I'm not sure if she's feeling guilty. So it's false guilt. Oh, it's completely false guilt. If she's feeling guilty that she can't help them. But okay, so is it false guilt, right? So that's where we have guilt is a bully, right? So I never believe guilt is guilt is not a healthy emotion. Like, it doesn't serve a purpose. If you can't afford Vicki, give me a call. I can't promise a good answer, but I will give you an answer. Well, Snug, that is really cool. I'm sure people appreciate it. Snug will give you a non-answer answer, and good luck with that, right? So guilt is a bully in your head, right? A Vic the Bully in Your Head, my second book that came out last month, is about the guilt is a bully, and we need to engage the headspace heroes, right? So if we engage the headspace heroes of hope and faith and confidence and courage, we can start to recognize it. Then when we engage kindness says that we can tell them, I'm so sorry that you're in a difficult situation. It doesn't say I'm going to take on your financial burdens, right? When you take on honor and integrity says for you to be honest about the situation and saying, I would, if you can help them and you don't want to, just be honest, right? I wouldn't say I can help you, but I don't want to. But I'm saying, when I say can, meaning you're not fully booked as a counselor, so you could see them, but you're practicing a good, solid business principle of don't do for one what you can't do for all, because you can't see everyone for free or you'll go out of business, right? And so it's okay for you to make a decision. So I would say it's not even false guilt. Guilt is a bully. Guilt has no place, right? Recognizing truth. Truth is, that's not a good business model. I'm not comfortable with it, and I'm not prepared to do it. That's not selfish or greedy. It's just fact. It's just information. It's being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not easy, right? Sometimes it's tricky. It's tricky to say no to people that you like. It's tricky to hold your price point instead of drop it because you feel like it's more convenient for someone else. but it's still, that's how it is to build the business. If everyone is honest about the situation and no one is being deceitful, people can work things out. Yeah, or they can work it out, or they can just agree to be friends, and hopefully when it comes, next time she can. The therapist feels bad about the situation but struggles with taking care of their business first because it's a business. Doing therapy is a heart business. Absolutely. Like I said, if that doesn't work for her, she shouldn't feel bad, saying, I'm so sorry, I'm not able to do that right now, but maybe here's some resources, here's some free resources you can do. Here's a book I recommend you read. Maybe even loan them a book. But don't feel guilty about how you run your business. If you do feel guilty and you're recognizing that you think your emotions are wrong, you need to check them. You need to, okay, why do I feel this way? And how, do I feel this way because I am selfish, right? Because there is a possibility we can be selfish. Like I said, if you're the person with $1 million in the bank and nothing actually to do with your time, and you've just chosen to watch these people fall apart, and again, it's still your privilege, but it sounds like, that maybe you're feeling bad because you're refusing to allow some of your other emotions to be expressed, because most of us do not feel that way. We don't feel like, oh, we don't care about you and get away. I mean, sociopaths do, but most other people don't feel that way. They have a kindness and a compassion. They want to serve others. Let's see. So hopefully that answered your question. I'm going to go back over to Facebook. Sorry, Facebook, I was answering these. I don't know if Facebook is not working or what's happening, although I usually do this on my business page and today I didn't. So that could have got everybody confused. Anyway, so if you guys have any other questions, pop them in really fast. I got about 5 more minutes. I'm happy to answer. Hopefully you found that helpful, Stacy. And that, if there's something that can be, we can help you with, like I said, your friend shouldn't feel guilty, right? She's, it's okay to run your business. It's okay to guard your time with a bulldog and not a butterfly. It's okay for you to do what's best for you. It's not always going to serve everyone else, but you need to make sure that your motives are pure. If your motives are pure, then you don't have to worry about it. I didn't get any requests to join Facebook. I got one for YouTube. I don't know what you mean, Patricia. You didn't get a request for Facebook? You got one for YouTube. You mean you didn't get a notification? That's strange. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I don't know what's going on with all the platforms. They're acting really wonky lately. Next week, though, I won't be on YouTube next week, because I'm going to try. We're doing the checking of our numbers based on being inside the Get Vocal platform and outside the Get Vocal platform. So after next week, I probably on Friday night, I probably will. And on my podcast, I will. Oh, gotcha, Patricia. But I'm trying to give you guys that data, the data that we've been compiling to figure out if we're getting, an extended reach or not extended reach, because you have to pull a data set to find out, because you never know when the Facebook algorithm changed, if your numbers are down because of that, or if it's external. Now, what I've experienced is because we're pushing through Get Vocal, it's not giving a description on Twitter, or Instagram. Twitter Instagram never has one, but not on Twitter, not on LinkedIn. Not on, I don't even think it is here. Yeah, it's not here on YouTube either. And so since there's no description, you're not pulling in other people. And a lot of times the hashtags that are pushed through on Twitter are grabbing those. So anyway, we're trying to do all that data for you to see, so you'll know what's better for you to do. So I still wish I had enough money to start artwork, but at least I'm creating some small art right now. What do you mean to start artwork? Anyway, so hopefully I provided you guys some value today. My numbers have been down on Facebook too. Gotcha. For others. I'm not sure what you mean, Ken, but if you want to message me, we can make sure to add that in to one of the broadcasts for next week. I think I'm going to not be on the air this weekend too, guys. I've really, I had another change that happened today. So I really have to work on catching up everything. So, because, we only have 11 days before the next book launch. So, and I still have some things I have to do. So I am going to, I'm just going to say it. I'm not, unless I get some crazy thing that the Lord tells me I have to get on, I'm not going to be on this weekend. I'll be back on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific. But I'm going to try and crunch through. And I know you guys won't miss me on Sunday, those Super Bowl fans. If you guys will be doing the Super Bowl while I'm cranking out some new content for you guys. Anyway, I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm grateful for you guys being in my life, and I hope that you guys find value in the information that I'm delivering here to you guys here on Instagram, Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, Get Vocal, and my website. So, and those LinkedIn people that you guys came in for here, thanks for being here too. Hopefully you'll give me a follow. If you guys haven't already, give a girl a follow. And like I said, tweet me on Twitter at Vicki_Fitch. Hashtag it Ask Vicki, and that way you'll know on Friday nights that we'll answer that. I should be on my business page. I wonder why. I know, right? I wonder why. Hashtag Super Bowl. Yeah, I guess if I did my broadcast on Sunday, hashtag Super Bowl, that I might actually get, we might get some numbers up, right? Anyway, I appreciate you guys in every way. And until next time, I want to remind you what not watching football got you 11 days. Oh, thanks, Ken. I know, book 3 in 11 days. If you guys aren't signed up for that, I think CC forgot to send out the reminders and notifications. I'm working on that too. But anyway, so please go to my Facebook page and make sure that you're registered to come to that watch party and come to our live launch. And I appreciate you guys. And until next time, I want to remind you, like I always do, to dream it, believe it, and achieve it. Ciao, ciao. I'm going to do off this first, right? I'm trying to do that. Ciao. And then Get Vocal. If I can hold it just long enough, right?